I'm just going to keep grinding, keep working, and I'll get the call. You know what I'm saying? It's like getting the call up to the England squad.
You know what it was, yeah? I had to practice, yeah? So everybody else was practice, yeah? Because I was like, when I sit down with Des, like, you know what I mean? I've got to come correct. So everybody else was practice.
I see.
Now I'm like, this is it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Grind, Hustle, Repeat, conversations around creativity and culture. I'm your host, Niadate Evans, and this is the show where we talk to creative entrepreneurs and discuss the ups and downs of their creative journeys. And hopefully by sharing, we can provide guidance to others. Now, nowadays, we hear the term level up quite a lot, but rarely do we see real life examples of that. And rarely do we hear people being so open about it. Now, just a few short years ago, my guest was a struggling assistant head teacher living paycheck to paycheck, a story that, to be honest, far too many of us are familiar with. Today, he is a multi-six-figure earner, placed in the top 5% of income earners in the country, and he's now coaching others to do the same. In 2018, he created the Amey Finance Academy, based in Canary Wharf, to help individuals make multiple streams of income and create generational wealth. And when I tell you my guest today is about that life, he just doesn't talk it, he's about it. My guest today on Grind, Hustle, Repeat is wealth creation expert, Des Amey. Des, welcome to the show, brother. It's good to have you here.
Wow, what an introduction. if I knew the introduction was going to be like that, I would have invited my mum on the call, you know, just to hear it. You know when you just want your mum to feel proud. Like, mummy, come and listen to the way I'm being introduced. Bro, you should have told me. I would have.
You know what, bro? I am such a big believer in giving people their flowers, man. Because I think far too often, you know, someone's not here and then we're like, oh, this guy was that. And it was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show and reach out. Because I am blessed in the sense that I have really good people around me and in my circle. This has also become an opportunity for me to say thank you to people that have, you know, impacted my life. And we spoke before, you know, just to give people some background. Des and I go, I don't even know, what, 1990?
98, 99.
Yeah, around, yeah. So we go back a fair way. And, you know, Des went off, done his thing, I done my thing. And then, you know, we kind of came back together. And there was a particular time that Des and I shared in a car driving to Richmond. And Des has an ability to really speak power into your life. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, like, Des will make you believe in yourself. And we had a beautiful conversation, and I've said it to you before, and I say it to you again, that's been really, it was a really pivotal conversation for me. So that was, yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that. But I wanna jump in quite quickly. As I said, you know, you really leveled up and turned your life around. And so for those watching, just give us, because I know you've spoke about this in numerous places, but just give us a brief background in terms of like where you've come from and what you've been through.
Absolutely. It's interesting because you're thanking me, and I wanted to start off by thanking you, because, you know, you've been a big brother to me, you know, over the years, you know, since we worked together part-time. And for me, when I look back, I feel that I was so blessed to have people in my network that were doing things on a big level. So kind of growing up and watching you and your brother doing what you guys were doing was inspiration to me to know that actually, you know what, someone who grew up in the same place that I grew up is doing things on this level. I can do it too. So I just want to thank you for being an inspiration before I kick off. Thank you very, very much. So guys, you know, I'm currently a wealth creation strategist, but my background is actually in teaching, in secondary school teaching. I grew up in a town known as Dagenham, affectionately known as Dagenham, it's not a very aspirational place to grow up, especially growing up in Dagenham 1980s, 1990. It was very tough. Not many people aspire to go to university. We had a factory, Ford factory. Most people kind of aspired to kind of work there. It was rough. It was rough going. I grew up in a single parent family. Papa was a Rolling Stone. He left quite early. So my mum raised us on a nursing salary, and we all know that doesn't stretch that far. So it was tough. But one thing that my parents instilled in me, especially being African, being from Ghana, I was born in Ghana. But one thing my mum instilled in us was that hardworking ethic. The formula was simple. My mum gave me a very simple blueprint for success. It was study hard, get A's and B's at school, go to university, get good grades, and then get a steady job. That was the advice that I was given, that many parents give to their children. And it's the classic blueprint. I followed that. I'm quite a obedient child. I followed that to the T. I said, okay, mum, that's the blueprint. Let's do it. And I became a secondary school teacher. And I even worked up to the position of assistant head teacher. Anyone listening to this who's ever worked in schools will tell you that working in secondary schools is an honor, a blessing, and a privilege. I look forward to every day. I used to feel like I was getting paid like to do a hobby. It was just a nice environment. I loved my job. The only thing that really kind of grated me was living paycheck to paycheck, living month to month, and living hand to mouth. And for some of your listeners, viewers, they may or may not understand what that looks like, but I would work hard the whole month. I'd get to the end of the month and I'd get paid, and my pay lasted about 3 or 4 days. Like, it just felt like I was working to pay my bills. I had no money left over for myself. It didn't feel like it. And I had no savings. That's what I remember most. Like, there was no savings. I used to look at people that had savings. I'm just looking at them like,
wow.
How are you, like, in this current climate? When you hear someone say, yeah, I've got 40K tucked away. I'm like, how? Like, just teach me, because I don't know how you're doing this, because I'm paying nursery fees. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Like, I'm from Ghana, family of 4. Just going to Ghana, that if someone dies, is peak, because we have to go home, and that whole trip is costly. So I'll come back and I'll spend the rest of the year trying to play catch up because of that one trip. So it's tough. It's very, very tough. And I just kind of got to this point where I said enough is enough. The breaking point was actually in January, the month of January. It's such a hard month. January is so tough.
Johnny, who are you telling?
January. Man, January was tough for me, because teachers, we used to get paid at the beginning of December, and then we used to get paid just before Christmas, which at the time you're celebrating, like, yes. And then January the 1st hits.
Somehow you got to get to the end of the month, bro.
Oh,
how are you going to get to the end of the month?
31 days, bro. 31 days. It's tough. And there was one January my boiler broke. And I when you're a man, like when you're a child, these things, you don't even think about them. Like when my boiler broke, I never experienced it before, like having to deal with it myself. And I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money to replace the boiler. My credit wasn't great, so I couldn't get it on credit. My credit cards were maxed out. So I was actually in a situation where I was like, here I am, a father, and I can't replace my boiler. So I said, something's got to change. Something has to change. So I started going to property conventions, because that was the in thing at the time. I don't know if you remember the whole kind of property shows. Yeah. One day.
I went to a few myself.
Okay, everyone, yeah, it was a big thing back then, right? So it was an easy way to kind of level up, I'm going to become a property millionaire. That was my plan, right? So I turned up, but one thing that stuck with me was they kept talking about the same book. The same book kept coming up time and time again, to the point where I'm like, okay, let me just read the damn book. And the book is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Honestly, anyone listening to this, guys, please, that book is a game changer. I learned 3 key things from that book that I may share later. And that was the book that helped me to kind of level up and so forth. And it just changed everything dramatically for me.
So I want to, because, like, as you said at the beginning, you and I, we grew up in a similar area. We've experienced similar things. We have a similar background. And as I just said, I you know, I went to a couple of those property seminars at the time when everybody was going to them. And I know that myself by nature, I am overly cautious, overly skeptical. Everything has to be a scam. And even to the point, I remember there was a time when we were just, you know, we were talking about what you were doing, and I'm like, I'm drilling you for information to make, and this is somebody that I know, you know. So what do you think in terms of mindset that you had that made you be like, I'm going all in?
That's a good question. First of all, I want to pick you up on like growing up in a similar area. Yeah, it was close, but you know, where you lived was kind of like a leafy suburb. It was like a leafy suburb compared to where I grew up, bro. Like, I don't want to like, you know, we're not in the same boat. It wasn't the same boat. Like, you know, it's like leafy suburb, and then you had Dejanham. But okay, we could pretend. Like that was how sometimes I would take a walk into where you lived to see how the other half lived. I was like, wow.
Why are you doing this to me?
Oh, wow, you guys are going like that. Oh, then I'll just go back to the slums. You know, yeah, don't try.
Oh,
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
You know what? The thing is, I'm not even gonna lie. Back in the day, there was small snobbery. But still, the snobbery aside, the similarities are there.
No problem. So the question was how the mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what it is, bro? I'll be completely real with you. I don't want to sugarcoat nothing. I don't want to give any kind of slip talking. My situation was dire. You know, when your back is against the wall and you can see Excaliburs swinging in your face. For me, I think the breaking point was when my daughter was born. When my daughter was born, I said, no, I need to change this. Something has to be different. So in answer to your question, I had a very strong why.
I'm gonna jump in there for a second, because again, I want to push a little bit deeper, because there are a lot of people out there who are fathers, they have children, but they're still in a bad situation, and there is still something stopping them from even realizing that they have the power to turn their situation around. Now, again, do you think that there is something that you can pinpoint in you?
Yeah.
That is like, okay, yeah, you know, I'm a father, you're a father, but what is in you that, you know, you went all in?
Yeah. So having a strong why definitely helps, you know, like that red hot, you know, I had a why that I really wanted to create a better life for my children. It was, and you're right, you know, the other people that may have that, you know, that feeling and may not take that action. You're absolutely right to highlight that. But for me, my why was strong. And I think for me, it was my belief system went up a little bit. There were things that happened in my life that allowed my belief system to start to go through the roof. You see, the problem when you come from dirt, to kind of use that loose term, is most people have a limited self-belief. They don't believe that that's possible for them. So a lot of people that maybe have a similar background to myself, like maybe single parent family, they'll think, oh, you know, becoming a multi-millionaire is something that happens to other people. It doesn't happen to me. So they don't even bother. They don't have that drive because they don't bother. But what happened to me was my belief system went through the roof because of something that happened in my friendship circle. I saw people with similar backgrounds to me doing amazing things in their respective industries as I was still a school teacher. And I said to myself, you know what? If it can happen for them, then it can happen for me. And that's when my mindset changed. My mindset changed to that, you know what? I can achieve those things. I want to be financially independent, and I'm not going to stop until that happens. And here's the very simple notion that I adopted. I'm going to learn new skills. I'm just going to learn new skills. If I can learn some new skills, that will help me to level up. So I just threw myself into learning new skills. It was a basic mindset. I'm going to learn about finance. I'm going to learn about trading. I'm going to learn about property. If I can learn how to do those things, that will put me in a position that I can potentially make more money. So that was my very, very, very simple game plan. I had a strong why. You see, here's the problem. You can have a strong why, but not take any action.
Yeah.
And I'm an action man. I'm an action man. I'm an action man. If I go to a convention, I take notes. I come home and I start to think about how I can apply the things that I've learned. Whereas the people that you've described, they will maybe go to the conference. They will maybe hear the talk. They will maybe hear the podcast. They will make copious notes, but there's no action. And that's the difference. You see, Einstein said, nothing happens unless something moves. Nothing happens unless something moves. And for some people, they just don't move. They just don't. There's that gap between being fired up, but just not taking action. If people took more action, there'll be more results.
Do you think that I'm quite a heady person, as I said before, you know, I think about a lot of things, and that's something that I've been changing over the years. But do you think that if you're not an action person, that you can become an action person? And if you can become an action person, what are the kind of steps you think you would need to take in order to become an action person?
What a question. What a question. What a question. What a question. So for me, I would start with setting goals, setting financial goals. See, I think for me, everything starts with setting goals. And if we're talking about finances because, you know, that's my area of expertise.
Yeah.
But I always say to people, have clear financial goals and write them down. That's the first step. You see, the reason why a lot of people don't achieve their financial goals is because they don't actually know what they want. Most people don't really know what they want. And the first step of manifestation is knowing exactly what you want. So the first thing I do with anyone that enters our academy is I say, I want you to write down your financial goals, because only 3% of the population actually write down their financial goals. But when you do, it makes it 50% more effective by writing down your goals. Now that you have your goals written down, and this is how I get people to write down their goals. I get them to write in this way. I'm so happy and grateful now.
Yeah.
I'm so happy and grateful now that I am debt free, that I am a 6-figure earner, that I have my property. You know, I've bought my first property. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am by such and such a date.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, once we have the goals, I then ask the question: well, what are the obstacles that are standing in your way of achieving those goals? What are the obstacles? What are the obstacles? Get them to list down the obstacles, because people have to kind of really formalize what is actually stopping them. People don't actually have that reflection. What's stopping me? What are the barriers? Is it friendship groups? See, sometimes elevation requires separation. So it may be that, okay, maybe I need to change my friendship groups. Maybe I need to schedule time to learn a new skill. So, and then a key thing that I want people to make a note of is, who can I be connected to help me achieve those goals? And if you can get a mentorship, I'm such an advocate for mentorship. Mentorship is the shortcut to success. If you can get a mentor, someone who has what you want, or someone who has the results that you're looking for, if you can get them to mentor you, now you're taking a shortcut to where you want to go. So, you know, that for me are clear things that you can do. Become obsessed. I became obsessed with my financial goals. My financial goals are everywhere, home and the office, everywhere. There is a science behind being obsessed with your goals. So even on the front of my phone, you see my Chairman 50 on the front of my phone. You see it on my coaster where my drink is going. You see my cushion, where my back goes on my cushion.
Wow.
Everywhere. I've got this other little, my goals are when you come to my house, it's even more wild. You come to my house and you think I've gone crazy. You lift up the toilet seat.
I want to jump in for a second, because I want to give context to some people that may not understand what Chairman 50 is.
Okay. So I'm an advocate of having multiple sources of income, and in particular having maybe 7 sources. One source of income that I get people to develop is called residual income. Residual income is when you're getting paid without working. And then we give it names. So Chairman 50 simply means that you're being paid 50,000 a month
Hey.
residually, and that's my. So I'm currently a chairman 25. And my next stage is to be chairman 50, and then chairman 100, and so forth.
And I just want to give testimony for a second, because earlier on I spoke about that car journey that we had, and that was maybe December 2019. And so Des back then was talking to me about, I think you had just hit chairman 10, if I'm correct.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Des had just hit chairman 10. So already I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. Wow. And then I think he'd given yourself like a year or something like that at the time. And you said, yeah, so I'm going to level up, going to get to chairman 25. And I'm like, wow, this guy's really, really going for it. Me, chairman 10, I'll be all right. I'll be like, yeah, I'm good. My man's like looking at chairman 25. And then I swear it was March, April.
Yeah, probably about June. Might have been June last year.
June, right. So June the following year. So 6 months ahead of schedule. And I remember just there scrolling, and then I just see Des, bang, chairman 25. And I was like, the work rate of this man is phenomenal. Like you can't not be inspired by your work rate. And this is the thing as well, because what you won't realize is that when you're there, you're focused, you've decided that these are the goals you're going to hit, this is what you're going to do. And there's the people that are seeing this and you don't even have conversations with them. And they're just like, wow, I'm inspired. So I felt it was important to get that out there.
Appreciate it.
One of the other things I wanted to talk about, and it's something that I've been speaking about to various people on various different episodes of Grind Hustle Repeat. So last year, obviously, pandemic hit. Everybody, a lot of people's worlds got flipped upside down. And then, the realization that, wow, I really can't rely on one source of income. And a group of people that were hit quite hard were creatives, musicians, artists, actors, and whatnot have you. And then after a while, we had the announcement from Rishi Sunak telling everybody to rethink, retrain, and whatnot have you. And I've said it before, how at the time when he came out with that, I was offended. I was like, how can this man like just disrespect this group of people like this? Like you haven't already trained to do what you do. And it's like, there's this lack of respect for the arts. But then after a while, I went away and I was thinking about it. And I said, okay, let's take the emotion out of this and let's put our head on. Maybe it's time that artists in particular, creatives in particular, need to really think about separating their work from their money. And what I mean by that is this. So there is this idea of the actor. Okay, so when you're not acting, you're a waiter, waiting tables, and that's how you live and that's how you get by. And then you get your job, you might get an EastEnders, you might get some nice theater or something like that, and then you get that money and you're like, yeah, and then you go back to your, you know what I mean, or your telesales job or something like that. Really, what I want to get out there is the idea that creatives need to start thinking differently. And where before you would be like, let me find a telesales job, let me wait on some tables. Really and truly, investing is what these creatives need to think about. Because, if you go off and you do an EastEnders or you do some type of drama and you get a nice bit of TV money and you take that money, and then you come to Amey Finance Academy, or even just, you start looking at forex, you start looking at Bitcoin or something like that. Then you begin to build income, and then you can really focus on, do you know what I mean? You don't have to worry about taking certain jobs that perhaps you wouldn't take because that's not really where you want to go with your art and whatnot have you. So talk to the people a bit about how Amey Finance can fit in there and change that for people.
It's so interesting that you say that, and I'm with you 100% on what you've just said. Just last year, we actually launched an initiative for creatives in particular. It's like of Kofi Ajiman, a good friend of mine. You know, he's an ex-actor and creative.
Yes, of course.
Right.
Yes.
So it was his initiative, and he heads up an organization alongside a lady called Jessica Walker, and they've created this platform called Trade Creatives, and it's aimed at. People think we're in cahoots. We're not in cahoots.
I swear down, I didn't know nothing about this. Yeah.
Because of course, you know, but there are creatives in my organization, like Jessica's in the latest Bond movie or something like that, and you've just hit the nail on the head. In between jobs, what can they do? And what we provide as a service is perfect for them, in the same way as we cater for contractors, people like IT contractors and business analysts. You know, they have these big contracts and then there's downtime. So what people are now realizing is that they can do things like online trading, where they can make whatever money they've made stretch a lot further. Our services are, you know, unique in the sense that people can use a very simple scanner, they can use our signals, and they can grow their account. So that what we have now in this, we've got over 100 of these trade creatives, and they're buzzing. When you go to their events, it's amazing. And they give testimonies of how, you know, I'm an actor in between jobs. I've been able to use the harmonic scanner, and I've been able to supplement my income and so forth. It's been beautiful. You know, Kofi Ajiman, top trader, 6-figure trader, and he is also about to hit Chairman 10. We just spoke about, you know, the Chairman ranks. He's literally about to hit Chairman 10. Someone who, you know, has come from that background as well. So, you know, things like the online trading, the drop shipping, and so forth, all of that is designed. And we even have products where if people don't want to do anything, it's completely passive, and they can just put their money into a product and enjoy 15% monthly growth on their money every single month. So if they don't want to learn a skill, I'm an advocate of learning new skills. But if people don't want to learn a skill, they can still invest in order to make their money grow. You know, even something like Bitcoin, we can show you how to invest in Bitcoin. Let me tell you something about Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is currently sitting at, you know, roughly, I haven't checked, let's just say $30K dollars. Yeah. Bitcoin will hit 100K by the end of this year. Mark my words. Bitcoin will hit $100 in this year. In 2-3 years time, it's going to be 300K, 400K. Bitcoin will hit 1 million. It'll be 1 million per Bitcoin sooner than what most people think. Okay, there's only 21 million Bitcoins that will ever exist. So that in some respect, they're going to be rare. So things, you know, things like that, people really get into. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was income protection. People don't know that for as little as 15, 20 pounds a month, they can actually have a policy that allows them to claim when they're out of work. And there's no checks. It's not a means tested. It's not means. See, this is the one that catches everyone off guard. They're like, what?
You saw my head switch.
Hey, I saw your head. I saw your head. I saw your head. I saw your head. I do talks around the world. And when I mention this, people are like, what? It's not means tested. So 15, 20 pounds a month, your income is protected, but I'm talking about basic living costs. If you want one that's going to cover a big salary, then of course you got to prove this now. But if you want basic living costs, and that is valued at 1,500 a month, which, you know, for someone like you, Russell, that's probably just petrol for your car, you know. But for the mere mortal, that's enough to pay the rent and maybe get some groceries.
I want to talk more personally about how your life has changed and things in your life that you're like, wow, I can do this now, or wow, like this is really makes me feel like I've changed. What's been like the big moments for you?
It's a really good question. So obviously, you know, I was a struggling school teacher, and just to put it into context, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, I remember going to supermarkets, getting to the till, and genuinely not knowing if my card was going to go through. I don't know if you've been there, bro.
I've been there.
You know when you're like, please go through. Like, just go through. Just give me this one blind. Because you're looking behind you, and there's a you're like, please don't do this to me. Because I don't know if it's going to go through. So that was kind of like, you know, the lowest kind of point. And then I came into this world, bro, and I make no exaggeration when I say this. It's going to sound like a wild claim. When I discovered online trading, I felt like I'd found the cure to poverty. And that sounds wild. I know you want to smile. You can smile. It's okay. It sounds... it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I see the smile creep on your face. And it's okay because it's wild. It sounds wild, right? But that's how I felt. And I learned a very simple skill and I became a six-figure income earner. And I'd never earned six figures before. And I knew the minute I knew I'd become a six-figure income earner because Barclays called me. And whenever Barclays used to call me, it was peak, right? So I'm like, oh, what? Why are you calling me? Like, why are you calling me? So they called me and they said, oh, sir, and I never had a positive call from the bank. They said, sir, we want to upgrade your account to the Premier. The Premier.
I've never heard of this before. This is new to me.
This guy, like, you got the one above it, bro. You're with the Queen's Bank anyway. You know the funny things there. You don't do retail banks. And they said, yeah, and they said, yeah, because you've got six figures coming through your account regularly. And I was like, wow, that's a big turning point. But what it's done for me is, I've been able to give my children a lifestyle that I could only have dreamt about before. Both my kids go to very nice, private schools. We live in a nice house, drive nice cars. I've been able to retire my mum, something that filled my heart with so much joy. I was able to, finish her house. She started the house already, but finished. How Ghanaians are, they'll get to roof level and then it's just there for time. So put the roof on the house, move mum back, paid off the mortgage. So now the house we had in Chadwell Heath, when we managed to get into the leafy suburbs, is fully paid. So the rental income that she has coming in, she just lives off that now because I paid off the mortgage. So now she's retired. She just live that rental income, like 1,700 comes in every month. In Ghana, she's
living life.
She's living the life. So
that must be an awesome feeling.
Oh, bro, it was so nice. I was actually sat in this spot when I was able to make that payment and ring her and say, look, you don't have to worry about money when you go to Ghana. I've paid the mortgage. It was just it was on my vision board. It was one of the things on my vision board. So that was very sweet. For me personally, I get to wake up when I finish sleeping. I get to go to...
You know what? Say that again.
I get to wake up when I finish sleeping. Like, it's nice. That's a lot. It's nice. Yeah. It's nice. I go to bed when I'm tired. Just little things like, if the family's going on holiday, we fly business class. My daughter has, fortunately is not known any other way whenever she flies. There was one time I played a prank on her. We got on a plane and I turned right instead of left. And and she kind of looked at me like, Dad, what? Dad, what was it? And I know that's
don't play, Daddy. Don't play, Daddy.
Don't play those games. But it's nice. It's nice being able to do those things. And I get to travel around the world. I'm these days I'm hardly in the country.
I know.
But it's nice.
Hurting up my feed with your Dubai pictures.
This business you can take anywhere, absolutely anywhere. And we're able to, fly the team. We're based in the Canary Wharf Tower where I am now, and having the business here was quite a big thing for me because this was a tower that I've respected ever since it came up. I've always wanted to do something here.
So you mentioned obviously you were born in Ghana. You managed to move mummy back to Ghana. What are your plans for Ghana? Because there's so much going on in Ghana at the moment. Do you have any plans?
Yeah, big plans, bro. Big plans. My heart is in Ghana. So I want to open schools. I want to open a series of schools. I want people to be able to just have free education. Obviously, my heart is in schools and education. When I went to Ghana last year, I went twice last year. And then when I went to the hospital that I was born in, Collie Blue Hospital in Accra. And I was walking around and I was looking at this place and I was like, this hospital, like, people will come in with one condition and leave with another. And I saw how decrepit the hospital was. And I just said, I want to, whatever I can do, I want to be in a position financially where I can just make a donation and just get the place renovated. My father was a biomedical scientist. My mother was a nurse, and they met at that hospital. Wow. And then they had me at that hospital. So you can imagine how close to my heart the hospital is. And I remember saying to my cousin, like, what's the best hospital so I can model it to the best hospital, like to the, they're like, this is the best. They said, this is it. They said, this is it. I said, oh, that's the best. I said, yeah, unless you go private, but this is the best general hospital. I'm like, wow, this needs some work. So I want the hospitals, the schools and hospitals are quite big in our family. Of course, I want, the knowledge of forex and foreign exchange trading to be just prevalent, people to be able to make money from the markets. And of course, I want to invest in property. But investing in property now, it's not easy. Like, the Americans have just inflated the market.
Yeah.
Now it's not cheap anymore. Now it's just normal.
They've really changed the game. They really changed the game out there. But I'm sure that you'll be able to do it anyway.
Let's club together, bro. Let's club together and buy something small. Come on, bro.
Don't worry, man. I'll drop a little tenner. It's all
this guy. But talking about back home though, there was something significant that happened to me back in the day. When I went to Ghana for the first time, I remember it was on the backdrop of feeling like I was poor because I grew up in Dagenham and I didn't have much money, and I always felt like I was that kid at school that never had the latest stuff. I imagine someone like you probably had the latest Nike and all these things, right? But
me?
we never had the latest stuff. So I remember going to Ghana, and when I landed in Ghana, I remember, when you land in Ghana and you're around the airport's a very nice area. So I remember seeing houses and stuff and thinking, wow, Ghana's wealthy. This is better than the UK. Like and we went to see some relatives that lived in a crown. I'm like, wow, you guys like that house help, gates. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Ghana's incredible. Then we went to our mum's village. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. And I remember seeing the village and how people were living there. And I remember getting this profound sense of, I just remember feeling grateful about my situation and also feeling like I wanted to do something when I was older so that I could be a blessing to my mum's village, that I could come back and be like, look, because not many people made it out of the village, but not many people had the opportunity to grow up in London, right? So I'm like, wow, this could be me. I could be in this situation right here. So let me try and make something of myself that I can come back to the village and do something significant. Like this guy left, like, don't let me just leave and I didn't do anything to contribute. Let me come back and be a blessing somehow. And people be like, okay, this guy left and he come back and did something small. So that was another one of my little motivations as well.
We have an opportunity here and we cannot squander it because actually, and it's not to put like a mad pressure on yourself, but yeah, we're in privileged positions and it would feel amiss not to help in that way. So I get it.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, bro. It's that you've crystallized it. You've crystallized what I was trying to say. And that's that we are in such a privileged situation that it would be a crying shame if we weren't doing something significant, that would make it all worthwhile, and that we were chosen to live this path. So let's maximize it as much as possible.
Amen to that. So I've got 2 questions that I ask everybody. What has been the best advice that you have ever been given?
Best advice I've ever been given is best advice I've ever been given. So much to choose from. For me, it's one generic one and one financial one, if that's okay. Yeah. So the generic one was to care less about what people thought of me. And that was actually a tough one for me because I actually do care about what people think of me, and it's like, I knew that in order for me to really excel in whatever it is I want to do, I needed to just care less about what people thought of me. And I used to do a lot of things to try and impress people that probably didn't even like me anyway. And to just change my mindset to just be like, you know what? Because in my business was tough in the beginning. I'm doing things that most people wouldn't do. Like I'm doing home presentations. I'm, putting up things on my status, things that people probably would consider to be beneath them. I had to do a lot of that stuff like in the early days as I'm building my business. Bro, I'm going to shopping centers and giving out leaflets, people putting leaflets in the bin. I'm driving up north to do presentations. There's 2 people there. 1 person leaves. It's long, but it's disheartening, bro. But I had to just, I'm just grinding, and I'm just like, you know what? I have to just keep my eye on my vision. And I just, I'm doing things that, I'm putting myself in very vulnerable situations, but I had to just, remember that, it doesn't matter what people think of me. I just need to remember what I think of myself. So just care less about what people think of you, and just stay true to your vision. And Warren Buffett made a statement that really stuck with me when I started this entrepreneurial journey. And he said that if we don't find ways to make money while we're sleeping, we will continue to work for money until the day that we die. And that stuck with me. And the reason why is because a lot of us work for money, and that's absolutely fine. Of course, we have to work for money. But the best piece of advice I could give anyone, as from the advice that I was given, is to get to a point when you can still make money by working, but how about you're making money when you're not working? So you're not working, but you're making money. Yeah. So try and develop a skill or develop an income that you can make residually or passively. Making money was, and a lot of people, they only make money whilst they're working, and what they don't have is residual income, passive income, investment income that is generated when they're not working. So that's cool. A really good piece of financial advice.
All right. And so the last one is, what advice would you give to Des at 16 years of age?
Be prepared to be uncomfortable. Come out your comfort zone. Come out your comfort zone. I got
that's a big one.
Yeah. Just to be prepared to be uncomfortable, and with that comes learning new skills, being a lifelong learner and consistently kind of learning new skills. But I was afraid to take risks. I was afraid to do things that, things like public speaking, like this interview, I never would have been able to do. I'm not someone who, I'm an introvert. I'm very introverted. A lot of people find that hard to believe.
I saw that book you posted the other day, and because I'm going to say exactly the same thing as you. I am naturally an introvert. And I say that, and a lot of people are like, yeah, whatever. But no, I am naturally an introvert. So when I saw you post that book, I actually took a screenshot of it because I was like, if Des is reading it, then I must read it. So yeah, I absolutely hear.
Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't make themselves uncomfortable. A lot of people play it safe, but just, there's a phrase that I use in the academy, and it's that your comfort zone is your broke zone. Yeah. Your comfort zone is your broke zone. We have to do things to just stretch us in different ways. So if that's the advice I would give myself, there's just be prepared to be uncomfortable. If it scares you, it's okay. Just do it anyway. Susan Jeffers says, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's a very, very, very powerful quote. So just feel that fear and do it. Because I probably missed out on so many opportunities because I was probably a bit scared. That's
listen,
and one last thing as well is I'd say if you can get a mentor. That's what I would say to Des, 16-year-old. I'd be like, what? Whatever area you get into, get a mentor and take a shortcut to success.
Thank you very much for your time, man. I always look forward to talking with you, spending time with you, and hope that something rubs off. And I always get little gems from you, and I always walk away from our conversations feeling fired up, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you. So bro, thank you very much, and I hope that this will be the first of interviews on this, and I would love to have you back again, because there's so much that I could get into, that we could get into. But yeah, no, thank you very much, and yeah, appreciate your time.
I just want to thank you, for doing this series. The Grind, Hustle, and Repeat is just phenomenal. Some amazing guests, and for just being you, being creative, pushing the boundaries, showing us what was possible from early on. From the raves that you used to do back in the day. We could talk offline about the stuff that led to. It was just incredible. But yeah, and just all your content as well online, and just your beautiful family. Just keep us all inspired and entertained. So I just want to thank you as well, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro, man. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Des Amey. And if you are, you know, in a situation where you're like, I need to change my life, please look up Amey Finance Academy and get involved, because they really are changing lives.
What I'd like to do before we close is, it's just dropped into my spirit. I'd like to give all your viewers a very special offer. I would like to give all your viewers a free financial review. It's valued at $595. But I'm going to do that for no extra cost. As if they get in contact via the website, ameyfinance.com, Amey spelled A for Alpha, M for Mike, E for Echo, Y for Yankee, finance, all one word, ameyfinance.com, and go contact us. If you use the code 001 grind, 001 grind, then I will know that they've come from here, and I'll know to give them the 595 free financial review. We're going to review your finances. We're going to get you a report that shows you, you know, how you can save money on what you're doing already, how you can make money, you know, how we can protect your income. It's going to be very robust, and it will help you in all areas. So definitely make that claim.
All right, I'll be the first one on there.
Let's go. We'll book you in,
Listen,
bro.
man, thank you very much. And yeah, we will definitely do this again. Peace.
Peace, bro. Thanks a lot. Love.
No.